March 18th. Upcoming, it says.
Yeah, it's not.
It's the blue
It's not
screen
live.
now.
Did you set it up?
Mhm.
Okay.
Hold on, it might come in now. I had a load. Yep, we're good. I think
It's on? What are you waving at?
It's a black screen.
Oh,
Okay, there we go.
I
Just
wanted to
came
make
out,
sure you could
sound
tell
like
if
it's
you're
a-
live or
Yeah,
not.
that was last week's.
Oh, yeah.
We're good.
It's good? All right.
Yeah, there it
Is it 7 o'clock?
Uh-oh.
All right, welcome to the March 18th Village Board meeting. If you could please join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Hopefully everyone had a nice St. Patty's Day yesterday,
Sure. Yes.
and you had time to read minutes. So we have February 5th, February 20th, and March 4th minutes. Anybody make a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make the motion to approve February 5th, February 20th, and March 4th, 2024 minutes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Present the tentative budget. Is that me or you?
Well, I did present it to you today.
Oh, you presented to me and now I
So it's
present it to the
filed.
board? Okay.
Is that the batting order?
Handed it off to you all.
All right, so we have the draft 2025 or 2024-25 budget. And I want to thank Eliza and Jerry for helping with putting this budget together, and Jennifer. There's a lot of meetings, a lot of discussion,
A lot of discussion, a lot of time.
a lot of
research.
number crunching.
Yes.
But we finally got it into a package that we can present tonight. So everyone, take a good look at it. We're all here to answer any questions that you might have as you review it. And I think our next step is to set the public hearing. So I'd like to make a motion to set the public hearing for our April 1st meeting for the public hearing on the budget.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. And Jennifer, that public hearing is usually left open for the following, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay, so this is the WIA grant that we had submitted for replacing the trunk line, which is going under Metro North, that we have continued to have problems with. This is the sewer trunk line. This is WIA Take Two. The first award that they wanted to give us was only for 25%. The total budget for this project is around $2 million. And they only wanted to give us $500,000 for the project, and so now they have said that we are potentially eligible for an additional $500,000, which would make it at a 50% level. And at that point, it's recommended that we accept that. So tonight, I'm going to be looking for an acceptance of that, pending their true award of it. We have to meet some criteria. So first blush, they felt that we were eligible. This isn't the final word on it, but so I'd like to get a motion to approve the potential of this funding at approximately $1 million for this project.
Yeah. The sewer commission, we approved it at the sewer commission too, right?
Correct, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very needed project, and we just couldn't pull it off with the first amount that they had offered. So with this additional funding, I think it's, we're gonna have to go out for other additional fundings to be able to do this. Pretty sure that we meet the hardship, so that we will be eligible for 0% financing through this, so.
And it'll be the village of Pawling's bond,
Yes,
not the sewer commission.
correct, because the sewer commission cannot seek funding,
Right, okay.
so.
If this doesn't go as well as we anticipate, we can turn it back again?
Mhm.
Okay.
Is it only for 500,000?
No, it's an additional.
No, I
now.
realize that,
Yeah.
it's an additional,
So
but,
it's, I think it was
but they can't
508
come back
or
with
something
another
like that.
100,000, or it's 500,000 more or nothing?
Yeah,
Okay.
but to Steve's point, you know,
Yeah,
if,
I understand, if it's, yeah.
if we get to a
it's
point
still
where,
short.
yeah,
Okay,
so.
I get it.
So we had a motion, did we have a second?
Oh, I'll second that.
Okay, so, any further? I don't even
No,
remember.
I don't think a motion was made.
Oh, and motion wasn't made, because I thought you made the motion.
I
I
don't
was
know,
for a second.
No, we were
I got
discussing,
confused.
so.
Okay, so how about we start over? Can I get a motion to accept the WIA grant potential funding?
I'll make the motion that we approve the application for the trunk replacement project.
The award of the
Yeah.
application.
Yeah.
I'll second it.
All right, any further discussion? Before we get confused again, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, shoot, that was rough. Okay. All right, so we have two Village Green Public Assembly event permits for approval. One of them being the Town of Pawling for their annual triathlon, which is for July 13th. I don't know if anybody have ever been around, they run through the village and,
Quite an event.
yes,
Yeah.
it's a lot of people comes through.
And we do have a lot of volunteers. Last year,
Yeah.
I don't recall having any issues with the village, with the
Yeah.
traffic and the
Yeah.
people doing the.
And they've done it for a number of years.
Yeah, they got it down
Yeah,
pretty good.
yeah.
It's the same course that they do before.
Yes. Yep.
No, I think it's great.
All right, so can I get a motion to approve the assembly permit application?
I will make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. And then we have another annual one from St. John's. This is a procession that happens on our sidewalk, correct? We make it clear to them not to be in the street, so just to stay on the sidewalk. This is something they do every year. This is for June 2nd, for approximately 1 hour, so, and approximately 50 people. I don't think they usually have that many.
I'll make the motion that we approve it
Okay,
for St. John's.
I'll second that.
any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next is our annual operator of public water supply permit. This is an online permit application that we submit every year. It just allows us to operate a water supply to residents. Is there anything else I
I don't
should say
think we have
about
much
that?
choice.
No, we don't, we don't really have a choice, John.
I'll make that motion then.
But you don't wanna not do it.
Yeah. Do you have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, any discussion?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, next item is lead service line inventory. So this is, another unfunded mandate, from, Jonathan, is it the state or is it the EPA? I've got lost now.
To be wrong, I believe it comes down to the EPA and then DOH
Through the
is the one
state.
enforcing it here.
Yes, all right.
And local health.
So it's, we have to conduct a lead service line inventory that has to be submitted in October. And so we have two parts to this. We have our engineer, Cedarwood, is taking the lead on it and gonna oversee the process and the submittal. But we have Labella's GIS services going to be doing the mapping, data entry of all of the information. So that's why you have two proposals in your packet. It is a mandatory thing that we submit. It probably won't be a complete inventory come October, but we have to show effort to be made, and it's, my understanding, it's a house older than 1986. So one of the things we're gonna probably do is use Dutchess Parcel Access to go in and do some, so I'm hoping to have a summer intern that can do some of this so that we can keep our costs down. You'll see that Cedarwood's base amount is, I believe, 3,000, and then it's time and materials. Labella's for the GIS work and data entry is, I believe, the base is 5,500, and then time and materials. So I'm hoping, instead of some of those time and material costs, that we can try to do some amongst ourselves. And I think Jonathan and I were talking about the possibility of even having some self-testing where we can provide the information on how you would test your pipe and allow people to do the scratch test, take a picture, have a date of when they did it. We're gonna see if some things like that might actually be able to fit a little bit too. We're gonna be creative in how we obtain all the information that we can, knowing that this is a first blush.
Right.
I'm sure we're not done and over come October, so,
Is the focus on the lines that are on private property at this point, or do we have any lead lines in the public area?
go ahead,
It's
Jonathan.
gonna be everything. So this is Jonathan with Cedarwood here. So it's everything. So you're gonna need to identify the service lines on the village-owned side, and you're gonna need to identify it on the customer-owned side. And when there's different methodology to identify, which the mayor correctly described everything. So really the first major step and hurdle is really a historical record search to just identify, anything that we have showing what some of these materials are. One of the Labella proposal is part of the predictive modeling with what's required for making the map. So what that'll do is they'll segment it into 4 different categories, and I believe anything after June of 1986 is when the lead ban came into place. So anything after that, we're going to anticipate that is not a leaded service, and go from there. But you have all the different methods to identify historical records. There's field inspection by, water staff or a licensed plumber. You can get into excavations, which obviously we want to limit because we don't want to get into it until we get through the historical record search and go through any, of the mapping, so we can try to limit and hone in on what areas we should move forward with doing the more, destructive items such as excavations. There's a sampling, which we likely won't get into for this, and then they do allow statistical analysis, predictive model, which we can utilize the mapping for. And there's also customer identification, so it's something we can put on the village's website and try to get some customer participation, basically fill out a form, provide pictures so that, this can be evaluated moving forward.
I mean, it seems like the next step, though, is gonna be
Uh-huh.
for the removal of the lead pipes.
Uh-huh,
It is.
Yeah,
and probably another unfunded mandate of
well,
having to
who
remove it.
pays on private property?
Right, yeah, that's a good question.
Who would be
Yeah,
responsible?
That's gonna have to be determined moving forward. So I mean, I know the mayor sent us a upcoming EPA event that we're gonna be sitting in on in April, so I'm sure that's gonna be discussed there. If it's not asked, we will ask the question, but I do know there is something in line that I think 10 years from when it goes in place, they wanna basically eradicate all lead service lines, and you're entirely correct. You can't do partial replacement, you gotta go all the way to the residents.
And it's probably gonna be a situation where we have to chase grant dollars and hope that we get funded. So,
Yes.
it's,
I would assume most houses are older than 1986.
Right, in the village.
for this village, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'll
this,
go well before then.
what this will do is, doing these steps first is gonna be money well spent, where you won't have to get into and throw money at going in and identifying any zones that we can prove and have a high level of confidence are, you know, beyond or after the 1986, or any historical records that show, oh, you replaced a service line that was identified to be copper at the property line and replaced with copper at an earlier date.
So let me ask you a question, Jonathan. Is this something as us, as a water supplier, so it's for any of our users, or is this for each municipality to do?
Well, it's for any public water supply
Water
system.
supply.
So since the village is the owner of the public water
Yes.
supply, then
Yeah.
you're responsible for doing it for
So we
everybody that
do-
you supply water.
We do know of two communities that won't fall into this, that are fairly new. So, you know, we can at least eliminate those two communities,
Baxter Green.
Baxter Green and Cedar Valley, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, they're not on our water.
Yeah.
Never mind, they're on our sewer, but not our water.
Yeah.
All right, so we can eliminate one. So,
Do we have an idea how many lead pipes we have in under our jurisdiction, within the village, under our control?
how would we know that?
Well, I don't know.
That's what this inventory is
Well,
gonna be for, John.
do we have a guess, or no guess?
No, I mean, we have an old village, so
But I mean, we've torn it up so many times, I would think that we'd have some idea.
I don't think any of us were looking at that, though.
Yeah.
That's the
Well,
problem.
probably just
I think that part,
If I may, there's
go ahead, Dan.
684 total connections. And, Baxter Green, there's probably 80 to 100 homes there that would come off that number. And there are some records of newer homes and new services. So, it's gonna be over 500 and maybe close to 600 that are suspect as potentially being lead.
So it's all depends on the
Yeah.
age of the
Yeah,
home and,
yeah.
and what the material was. Like now Arthur's house is old and you were saying you think yours is galvanized. So I mean, until, each one of us can go in our basement and look.
Yeah.
I have not, so I guess I will. That would at least tell us our service line,
Mhm. Okay.
so. To be continued,
Yeah,
so thank you.
a big job ahead.
And while we're on the topic, I believe,
Oh, we have to approve this anyway.
Yeah,
yeah, I think to John's point though, I believe with the GIS mapping, the tablets that we have, if the guys were doing a dig somewhere, hopefully that information
Yeah, we'd be
was
nice to have out there,
downloaded.
yeah.
So I think that might appear when we start doing the GIS mapping, right?
Yeah,
If there's any lead lines.
If they-
Oh,
if they notice
so
it,
that's
yeah.
why we're having Seth from Labella do it, because he's the one setting
Yeah.
it all up.
Right.
So once we've identified it, yes,
Yeah.
but, yeah.
Yeah, they would, as part of their phase one, which is included in their 5,500, was to prepare the application for field data entry so that
Right.
it can be utilized for the future with your handheld Trimbles anytime anyone's going out to a service call or something like that, when you can verify, any excavation when you have your eyes on the service line.
Yep. So that would be H2O and our highway department, so whenever they're going out, they can be entering that data in, and we'll track all that. That will go back to Seth for the mapping, so. I think we're
Okay.
close to being somewhat prepared for this and have a plan.
Yeah.
So, in order to get started on it, we have to approve these proposals. They go hand in hand with each other. Cedarwood has already had a couple of meetings with Seth, trying to put this all together. So they're already, have hit the ground running with this, knowing that we have, the clock is ticking to get whatever we can done for the October submittal, So does anybody have any questions regarding the proposals?
no.
Okay. So I think maybe we should do them separately since they're two different companies.
Yes.
Can I get a motion to approve the Cedarwood lead service inventory proposal?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, and then can I get a motion to approve the Labella lead service line proposal?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jonathan and Dan, for your input. Okay, Metro North Treasurer's Report. Can I get a motion to approve as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, Engineers Report, Dan, you wanna go first?
Sure, thank you. Lower Baxter construction continues to move along well. We had our bi-weekly meeting this morning. Our goal is to have all of the exterior work completed except roadway work by April 1st. And the sub base is in. We may have to pave after April 1st, but the idea is if we're limiting our activity to roadways or clearly defined surfaces, we won't have to have the special assistance of a biologist there protecting the species. So the goal is to get it far enough along by April 1st
Yep.
to eliminate special costs associated with the species.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, we're focused on getting this system to a point of substantial completion by June now. The hang-up is electrical components, particularly the variable frequency drive for the well pumps, and we don't expect that to be functional until June, and so that's going to drive the substantial completion date. We expect NICEAG to be out there sometime next week hanging the new transformers, which will bring us enough power to operate both the old Baxter plant and the new Baxter plant. The second major activity that's going on right now is we're required to submit a renewal application to DEC for continued use of your water supply withdrawal permits. The application is substantially drafted. The mayor has been given a copy for review as of close of business today. And we need to have comments back by Friday. Our goal is to make that renewal application submittal by Wednesday the 27th. We were told that we set that schedule up when, in reaction to DEC's notice that they needed the application 180 days prior to the expiration of the existing permit. It turns out we got a revised notice about 2 weeks ago that we only have to get it in Thursdays before. But we're so far along with it to shut it down and restart it later in the summer, which is at cost. So we're flat out pushing to get this thing submitted by the 27th, which will be 182 days before the current permit expires. The big ask here is some relief from the extraordinary cost of managing the species. We believe, in the cover letter, which is part of the application, seeks to provide a demonstration that in 3.5 years of use, continuously at 100 gallons a minute, we have had no adverse effects on either the individual that is living in the habitat or the habitat itself. And we think that evidence is strong enough so as to allow DEC to come to the conclusion that there's no threat of an incidental take. And if there can be no threat of an incidental take, then there's no requirement for an ETR, endangered threatened species resource.
And Dan, we weathered through a pretty drought summer back in what, 22?
22, and then to June 23.
So, I mean, we weathered that without any issues. To the,
Correct, and the letter very carefully lays all that out, including the drought. And that letter is being proposed to be signed by you, Mayor, because it's not a technical part of the application, but it's the ask to be excused from this, what we believe is not needed ETR,
right,
not needed by the environment, not needed for the water supply, not needed to protect the public's interest in the species. So we're making that case, and you know we'll have to see where it goes. It will be developed through some meetings over the course of this year with DEC. That concludes my part of tonight's report.
thank you, Dan. Jonathan or Brian, do you have anything for an engineer's report?
The lead service line is the big one. We'll keep that moving and get with Seth from Labella to get an updated schedule and provide that to the village so we can just game plan the path forward here for the October submission. And other than that, I know we had previously, I don't know if we discussed it or if it happened after the last meeting, we had the all-hands transition meeting with the village and Labella to just discuss any projects that we'll be working on. So, at this point, as they progress, we'll provide additional updates, and I don't believe I have anything else tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right. March bills in the amount of $14,956.99. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
No second?
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Anything anybody else has to bring up?
No?
Okay. Bulk pickup, want to remind it?
Yeah, I forget the date.
You have to email
April
Jennifer
11th.
by April
Yes.
5th. Don't forget.
April 5th, yes. Bulk pickup in the
April
village.
5th.
You're April 1st.
I don't get it.
Oh,
So it's not April 5th?
Steve, no, it was funny after your comment last time.
No, I know.
So you have to notify Jennifer by email by April 5th, and bulk
Yes.
pickup is April 11th.
11th.
And it's all
Yes.
posted on the website.
And all their stuff should be out the night before for that day.
Yes, for the
Yes, just as a reminder. Thank you, Jerry.
Yeah.
All right, as there is no public, I don't think we're open unless Eliza, do you have anything that you'd like to say?
No comments.
Thank you, by the way.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you again for all the hard work on your first budget.
First budget.
First official budget.
Yes. All right, then can I get a motion to adjourn? Oh, I'm sorry, Joe, do you have anything?
I don't, no,
Okay.
I think we're good to go.
All right, good,
Great.
all right.
Although, I guess I will say,
Oh.
I will also follow up on that, the legal question as to the private property.
Okay.
And I'll be in touch with our engineers to track that.
Okay, just to make sure, cover ourselves.
Yep.
Yes, okay, thank you. All right, now can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, have a great night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Yeah, thank you. Take care.